right, do we have another one?
Hello. I have a question for Jason, and I just want to say first that you're my sun and stars. How hard was it for you to do the fight scenes with that long hair?
You know, it was pretty easy. Maybe it's because I'm used to long hair. I used to have to wear a dread wig on Stargate Atlantis, which was like 6 pounds, so that was just like a little rat tail. It wasn't very hard at all. Thank you, Moon, my life. What is on your shirt?
I think everyone should have one of these because I have hope that you'll come back. For me, the moment that I was hooked was when Jamie pushed Bran. I was like, they're not playing around. So I was wondering for you guys, either reading the script or the book, what was the moment that hooked you in the show?
No, I had the same experience when I got to that moment. I thought, what the hell? But it was such a great. It's horrible, but it's dramatically. It's just perfect. I think it sounds weird, but you know, suddenly you're in that dark place. You know that all bets are off, and that's brilliant.
I think mine was. I think it was the scene that I've read somewhere that you George that you wrote first. I think it was the bit with it was right at the start. You know, after the prologue.
Discovery.
Yeah, but they discovered the thing. It was pretty soon in. I just loved that scene. Was my favourite. I think that's the bit that got me.
The very beginning of the show, the White Walkers, all that stuff. I thought that was suddenly in this cold landscape. Yeah. And then I lost interest when I came on. My scene was over, and then I was interested again. Yeah, but I love the White Walker stuff. All that sort of supernatural element that sort of is on the periphery. I like that stuff.
We'll go back to the questions in a moment here, but before we run out of time, Dan, David, what can these guys expect for the second season? I know that a lot of them are eager to hear what the plans are.
Everyone does, so.
It was all a dream.
I would say for the readers, they know much of what to expect. I'd say it starts to get a little bit, if we're lucky enough, if we have a season 3, that's when it won't start corresponding so neatly to the books because Storm of Swords is just too big to do as one season. So we don't know yet whether it be 1.5 seasons, whether it be, maybe it's 3 seasons for Storm of Swords, Clash of Kings. We don't know yet exactly. For second season, we've got a bunch of great new characters coming in, and we've already got such an incredible cast, but, it's time to meet the Red Priestess, and it's time to meet... And it's time to see those dragons and wolves start to grow. And there's bad stuff lurking north of the wall, and it's a season of exploration, I think. So, all leading up to, our hope has always been, from the very beginning, I remember talking about this with you, George, that we can keep this alive somehow. We can get to, there's a certain scene in Storm of Swords. I'm not going to say the name of the scene because the name itself is a spoiler, so don't actually yell it out. But you all know, if you've read the books, what scene I'm talking about. Let's call it RW. And we've always felt like if we can get to RW, we've accomplished it, And so it was terrifying. We pitched the show. We didn't know if we would go. We made the the pilot, we didn't know if it would go. We made the first season, didn't know. Now we seem like we're set up pretty well. I think we're going to get to RW, and if that happens, then I can retire to my asylum.
Let's go back to the audience for the next question.
Hi, this question is actually from my friend Steve, who is a huge fan of both the books and the show, but he couldn't be here today. So he would like to know, for season 2, are you going to be able to film the Battle of Blackwater the way it was written?
George is writing it, so I certainly hope so.
We're going to pass my hat around to get some contributions. If any of you have an extra nickel or something like that, who knows, it may pay for a little special effects. Actually, the guys from, when I was signing earlier, the guys from WIDA came up to me and said they were huge fans of the series and all that, and I asked them if they would like to donate $7 million worth of free special effects, but for some reason they declined.
We're happy about it.
There will be a battle.
Hello. As a fan of good writing, I know that the writer can't always do what's going to make the audience happy, whether it's on paper or on screen. So for you, Mr. Martin, when you wrap stuff up, being also a fan of people like Damon Lindelof, are you still concerned about, to put it in your words, pulling a Lost?
I believe Damon is in the room, so I better be careful what I say. Yes, I am concerned about the ending. I still have 2 more books to go, and I'm juggling a lot of balls, and of course there is the deep fear that eventually some of them are going to fall on my head and knock me unconscious or kill me. But all I can keep doing is juggling as fast as I can, and hopefully bring everything together in the magnificent way I see it vaguely in my head as stretching before me. It's easier to dream these things than to do them, but yeah, I certainly hope that the ending will tie together, and in terms of making people happy, well, hopefully it'll make some people happy. It will make people happy with the book. Although I've always been a fan of the bittersweet ending, and I've said before in interviews that that's what to expect. I mean, I love Lord of the Rings, and I love the scouring of the Shire. You know, the fact that it was not a, you know, hobbits dancing happily in the woods, you know, the witch is dead kind of thing. That there was a cost to the war, and there was a human cost, and there's triumph, yes, but there's also tragedy mixed into triumph, and I think Tolkien did it brilliantly. I hope I can do something half as good.
Jason. I wanted to know what it was like transitioning from a sci-fi show to a fantasy show. Was the filming similar special effects things, or was it vastly different?
Yeah, it's vastly different. Let's be honest here. Sci-fi and HBO are over here. HBO's over here. This is basically a 10-hour movie, and it was absolutely one of the greatest accomplishments, and I've never been a part of anything remotely close to this. I've never worked with so many great actors. I normally don't even like my producers, let alone the writers. And I just like worship everyone. I mean, you could show up to set and just watch. I mean, I love people I worked with on Stargate, but like literally, I mean, there's the 2 Americans, you know what I mean? Really phenomenal, just the level of talent was through the roof. But as far as sci-fi and fantasy, I love that genre. It's just that there's so many things you can do, like rip someone's tongue out of their throat and get away with it, and rape beautiful women. You know?